does and how it helps us do projects, and how is Rotary Foundation funded, and also what are all the great things our district has done taking advantage of this foundation. So I wanted to do in those three areas. And many of you, probably most of this is all familiar. So if it is, you already know about it, just please bear with me. And I just want to go through quickly some basics about the Rotary Foundation. Can I have the screen? Let's see.
Venu, I click on your profile, correct, to get that?
Okay, I'll click the share screen and see if I get it.
Yep.
No, I'm disabled still.
Well, I guess I'm going to make you the host for now. How's that?
Okay, sure. All right, so now I have. So do you guys see the screen?
Yeah.
Okay, and if you want to see the whole screen, you know, there's a way you can go and click on the one bar on the photo or pictures on the side, then it won't obstruct the screen. Some of the material may be blocked by our pictures. If you click on the single bar, you can always come back later. So I'm just going to talk about the foundation in three parts, give you a little bit of basics about the foundation. Let's see, okay, I think this is the way I do. Rotary Foundation, it was started in 1917 by the then Rotary International President, Arch Klump. And he said, this foundation is meant to help and do good around the world. And he started with the $26.50 donated from the Kansas City Rotary Club. And now that has grown to be more than $1 billion now. And that has helped us spend more than $300 million in doing a lot of good projects around the world. And we have a mission. The Rotary Foundation has a mission. And the mission says it wants to enable us the Rotarians, to advance the world understanding and goodwill and peace. And how does it plan to do that? By providing us the capability to help improve the health, education, and alleviate the poverty of the people that we come across. And basically what they're saying is that we promote peace through service. So these are the 6 areas that Rotary Foundation has set up and said that if you do projects in any of these broad 6 areas, the foundation will fund your project, and every dollar the Rotarian raises will be leveraged and becomes $3 for the project. It could be in water, sanitation, the hygiene area. It could be in basic education and literacy, disease prevention and treatment. Specifically, they emphasize any projects in maternity and child health, in peace building, and in community economic development. And most of you are familiar with doing projects in any of these areas. They're so broad. Most of the projects that we want to do, they fall in one of those 6 areas of focus. And if you do them, then the Rotary Foundation considers it. And if they approve it, then your dollar will becomes $3. And now, how does this process work? How does the Rotary Foundation process work? First, the Rotary is completely funded by the Rotarians. We contribute to the foundation, and we contribute in different ways. We can contribute to the areas of focus. I told you the 6 areas. So you feel like you say, hey, my passion is to help maternity and child care, and I write a $100 check and you send it to the foundation. Your money will be spent on only those projects that support maternity and child care. Or you can give it to polio, and you say, my money is for polio, it will go for the polio eradication. Or you can give it to annual fund. I'll explain to you in a minute what annual fund is, and it's a very important. And you can give it to endowment fund. the one that started with the $26.50, and that's an endowment fund, you can give it to that also to strengthen our future Rotary Foundation. Or sometimes you can write a check directly for a global grant project that you liked and you want to support the project, you can send the money. In any one of these areas you contribute, it goes into the Rotary Foundation and you get recognized. But specifically, if you give it to annual fund, it goes into, if you give it to area focus, it'll go to the programs. If you give it to polio, it directly goes to polio. But if you give it to annual fund, it goes into a bucket called share fund. And the share fund is invested for 3 years. At the end of the third year, it comes back, half of it comes back to the district as a district designated fund. And they put the other half in another bucket called World Fund. And what you give it to endowment fund, it will never be touched, but its interest comes to the World Fund again. Whatever interest it earns, that will be put into the World Fund. So the World Fund has half the share of the money that we gave, and also the interest in the endowment fund that come into the World Fund. Now, how do we use, what is the DDF? What do we get and how much we get? Give you an example. In 2016 and 2017, when Dennis McMahon was our district governor, our district designated fund was $74,000. So the foundation said, you have $74,000 that you can use to manage your local projects or international projects. And how did the $74,000 come about? 3 years before, in 2013 and 2014, our district has contributed $148,000, which went into the share fund, got invested for 3 years. At the end of the third year, they gave half the money to the district and the other half went into the World Fund. I'll tell you in a minute, how do we use this World Fund also? So now we take this DDF and we put a part of it for our district grants. Every district is different. Every district does it differently. So we take part of it, like in Dennis McMahon's time, he took $20,000 and we tell our presidents, local clubs presidents that, hey, you propose a project, we'll match dollar for dollar up to $2,000 to do projects within your community. And that's how we use. And the rest of the $54,000, we target it for the international projects called global grants. So if the global grant projects is approved by the foundation, the DDF we give is matched dollar for dollar by the foundation, which is in the World Fund. So other half that went into the World Fund is now given to us as a matching grant for every dollar you give from your district designated fund. As an example, suppose you're doing a project, a local, an international project, and your Rotarians have raised $20,000. 5-6 club combined raised $20,000. And our district says, we'll match your $20,000 with our DDF $20,000. So the World Fund comes and says, okay, I match dollar for dollar your DDF dollars. So they will give $20,000. So now your $20,000 of the Rotary money has now become $60,000 for the project. So that's the leverage of 1 to 3 that we benefit from having a strong foundation. And the $60,000 in a developing country or a third world country, they make a huge impact, making a life-altering projects. So once you have the one, then the World Fund gives you other half, and your global grants become 3 times the money the Rotarians raise. But if you give the money to the global grant project directly, it goes directly to the global grant projects. So the annual fund is the one that's important for everyone is important. Every areas of focus is important. Polio is important. Endowment fund is important to keep our foundation strong. And giving to the global grants directly is also important. But annual fund is the one that the more we give, the more we get back, so that district will have a choice how we want to use the money for local grants and also for the global grants. So providing or helping the annual fund will help us most. So when you're making a donation, look at these and see what's important to you. Where do you want to put your money and which one you want to support? Any one of these equally important. Now, what I did is I went through this global grant concept or the model, the global grants model came into effect in 2013. And in the last 7 years, our district has done quite a few global grant projects. So this year I happened to be the district foundation chair. So I wanted to see what impact have we done doing these global grant projects in the world. So I went back and I looked at every one of the global grant projects that we have completed until 2020. So the next chart shows the projects that we have done and the impacts that we have created. Look at this chart. It shows in 2013, when this model started, we haven't done any global grant project. But 2014, we have done one, 15, one. In 2016, we have completed 2 projects. 2017, we have completed 8. 2019, we have completed 10. And 2019, we have completed 12. And the bottom row shows the value of the projects that we have completed, all the way from $187,000 in 2014 to $980,000 for 12 projects in 2019. So cumulatively, in the last 7 years, we have contributed more than $3.2 million investment in the international projects. And where are all we spend this money? In 16 different countries. And then I went and I looked at every project has to submit a final report when they're finished. And the report has to say the impact the project has done in the area and also in the region that project was completed. So I went and I reviewed every one of those 34 projects. It was very tedious, but I did not know what I was going to expect at the end of the exercise, but it was such a pleasant surprise. And I'll show you what I found out. As I said, in the first 2014, we did only one project, and that was on water purification in Haiti. And it impacted 2,500 families. Not 1 year, but every year it's providing that clean water to them. In 2015, we have done only one project that was in Mexico. And this was to help diagnose the children with a neurological problem. And that's helping over 1,600 children a year, and year by year, continuing. 2016, we have done 2 projects, one in Guatemala and one in India, and this is all on literacy projects. Over 1,000 children are being improved every year with this new technology and new methodologies that we have provided. And I don't want to go to details in every one, but in 2017, we worked with the 3 countries, again in the different areas, literacy, water purification plants, in health projects, and provided with the blind students with the braille machines, helping them and continue to help them. Similarly, in 2018, we worked with 9 countries in different areas, helping and improving the lives of the people. Not 1 year, but it's continuing on year after year. Similarly, in 2019, we worked with about 6 countries in different areas, again, making a life-changing impacts on the families. So I put together a summary of all this. And as you can see, since 2014, Rotary District 7870 has collaborated with 16 different countries to participate in 34 global grant projects worth over 3.2 million, with the life-altering impacts on more than 1 million men and women and children. And it's still continuing. And what I did is I took all this data and I have shown in each one of those areas of focus in which Rotary Foundation awards these grants. So in disease prevention and treatment, when we take all the projects that we have done in a different geographical areas and different countries and put together, we have been impacting over 140,000 men, women, and children every year in disease prevention and treatment. Similarly, in water sanitation, about over 100,000 men, women, and children are getting clean water and getting trained in sanitation and hygiene. Maternal and healthcare, we have more than 1,000 mothers and over 8,000 children are benefiting every year, the projects we have done. And basic education literacy, over 30,000 children are benefiting every year because of the digital learning systems and the electronic systems we have provided, improved their infrastructures, provided them the latrines in their schools, provided them with the clean waters in those schools. And also we're providing yearly training for more than 400 teachers. And the school facilities are so improved, they're being used for adult literacy. And over 500 adults are getting trained in those places. And finally, economic and development development. We have a major microfinancing program going on in Rwanda in the last 4 years, 5 years. 62 families have become self-supporting. Because it's a microfinancing, once they feel they're comfortable and they pay back the loan goes to a different family to help them become self-supporting. So the program is still continuing. So as you can see, with the small contributions from the Rotarians, all we do is contribute 2,000, 5,000, 4,000. But with the leveraging that we use with the Rotary Foundation, we do miracles all over the world. And they continue. And the people who are benefiting have no idea who has done this. And we have no way to go see who we are impacting, but we are doing good around the world. So some examples, just to give you some faces behind these projects. Look at this. This is a project done by Milford, and this is providing the water filtration systems called Biosand filters. It's a $140,000 global grant project that was done, and it's providing close to 3,500 population pure water and sanitation training. Similarly, in Mexico, the Nashua Club worked and put together a project where, with a $107,000 grant, they're providing over 300 children every year being diagnosed and treated in neurological disorders per year. And this is again in Honduras, water sanitation program run by our Pure Water for the World, which again is something that sprang from our own district, and now it's a nonprofit. Used to be run by our past district governor, Carolyn Mew. And with a $133,000 global grant, it is providing on a continual basis clean water for over 2,000 families and providing clean latrines and hygiene and sanitation training. This one, this touched my heart when I heard the story. This is a Rotarian, is Adrian Levick from Nashua. He was taking a tour, a vacation cruise, and one day on the cruise, they took a side trip and take a boat trip. And this is in Guatemala. When he was going on his boat, he took this picture, he went back to his ship that evening, and he was looking at this picture, this haunting eyes of this little kid. So he had to go back to this place. And then he found out this place, the child mortality rate and the pregnant woman, the dying at the childbirth was so enormous. He couldn't stand. So he started a global grant project. He himself personally put in a lot of money with a global grant project of $72,000. They are providing for about 5,000 midwives who are graduating there with a portable diagnostic tool so they can go to these small villages and diagnose and provide help. And they're literally changing or helping save lives. And he already started a second project there. So these are small investments and making a unbelievable changes in some community and making so many people happy. This is a project done by our past district governor, Tony Gilmore. It's only a $64,000 global grant project. He further leveraged this money working with a nonprofit called IMAC in Massachusetts, who sell used but very good equipment. They refurbish and they repackage it. And he has used $64,000 to provide over $800,000 worth of medical equipment to maternity hospitals in 5 hospitals in Mongolia. And the impact? Every year, it's helping over 500 pregnant women and 1,000 children under 5 years old being treated. And also, this project is continuing to help educate medical professionals. Finally, I did a project in India for the water purification plant because I happened to read an article on the World Health Organization that this area in Bangalore, where the population, 1 out of 5 children were not reaching the age of 5 because of lack of clean drinking water. So with $145,000, we have started a project and we set up 15 water purification plants like the one you see in the picture, where Dennis McMahon and Donna, and also assistant governor at the time, Jerry Engman from Hopkinton, they visited India at the time when I was there. So we visited these water purification plants. And it's now they're providing in total over 80,000 population. That's more population than the population of Nashua in New Hampshire, clean drinking water and literally saving lives. So these are some of the faces behind those projects that I talked about, the impact that we are doing in the world. And it's all because we are able to leverage our dollars through foundation. So I don't need to emphasize to say how important it is for us if we want to continue to do this, how important it is for us to keep our foundation strong. Strong financially and strong organizationally. So anyone who has a time and talent, ask for your help. Don't hesitate to help the foundation either with your time or with your money. So my advice is, doesn't matter how much you contribute, but contribute something. Just be part of it and make use of it. And how you can do that, there are many ways you can do. You can do individually. You can be a Paul Harris Fellow, which is $1,000 you give. It's a recognition you get, but it doesn't have to be all $1,000 in one lump sum. You can give $100 a month or every other month. When it accumulates to be $1,000, you will be recognized as a Paul Harris Fellow. If you're a little more enthusiastic and if you can afford, you can become a society member, Paul Harris Society member, that you commit, you'll give $1,000 a month to the foundation. Or you can become a major donor. You know, if your cumulative donations go over $10,000, you become a major donor. Again, as I said, it doesn't have to be all at once. You know, you're a Paul Harris Society member over a 10 years period, you will be a major donor. If you can afford and you're very enthusiastic and committed, you can become an Arch Club Society. You write a check for $250,000, you become a member of the Arch Club Society. And the other ways you can give, you can be a benefactor. You can take a small insurance for your life and make Rotary Foundation the benefactor. So when you pass away, you pass on the benefits for Rotary Foundation to continue to do good in the world. Or the last one, you can be a bequest society. So you can put Rotary as one of the beneficiaries in your will or in your estate plan, and you can have a bequest society member. There are many ways you can help. And you can do this as a cash, or you can do it as stock shares if you want to. You can give it to them and you can save taxes and also get the tax benefit. There are many ways. There are folks at the Rotary Foundation who can help you steer how you can help the Rotary Foundation. Any questions, comments, discussion?
Any questions out there? Don't be shy.
Yeah, I had a question, Venu. You mentioned, as well as money, you mentioned time. How do you donate time? How do you find out things that maybe you'd be useful for?
Oh, the time I meant that if someone comes and says, hey, could you be a district foundation chair in your club? You have many ways you can help as a district foundation chair in your club. Or if you have time and if you are really enthusiastic, if your colleagues come and ask you, can you come and help as a district foundation chair? Or somebody, if you have an experience in doing Rotary Foundation grants, can you review somebody who is planning to apply? Can you review his grant and give you your idea or your expertise? Or, in my case, I do anything for the foundation. So they come and ask me, Rick Manganella told me, Venu, I've been doing this for 6 years. Next is yours. So I said, sure, I'll take next year. And it so happened, as I'm accepting my district responsibility for the foundation, the zone came and asked me, can you help us work with the 4 other districts to help the foundation? I said, is it okay if I'm the one helping my club of my district also? Because they have a rule saying that if you are a zone representative, you cannot be working on any other thing in your district. So I said, if there is some such thing, then I would rather stay with my district, I told them. So they said, no, you can do both. So if you have time, if you have passion and you want to help, there are many ways you can help. Just say no when somebody asks you for help to help the foundation anyway. Time, talent, or treasure.
Thanks.
Venu, I have a question. Has the district released information for this year's funds? What's available for the district grants?
Oh, yes. I think we have about $58,000, I think we have in DDF, because you all are familiar with the global grant project we have done for the COVID, right?
Yes.
And I think you are part of that too.
Yes.
This is the first time, maybe second time, I think, but the first time was not the kind that every club got involved. But
Okay.
this time is the first time we have done a global grant project in this country. Because anytime you want to do a global grant project, you need 2 clubs. One club in the country where you're doing the project called the host club, and the club in the other country who is supporting it called the international club. And the requirement is the international club needs to provide minimum 30% of the project cost. So it's very difficult to do projects in our country because very few developing countries can put 30% of the cost of the project we do in US. So it always happens we do global grant projects outside. But there are ways around it. We can still do global grant project in our country. And I'll tell you, if you're interested in doing something in this country, we can do global grant projects here because Canada is a foreign country. Europe is a foreign country. We can work with them and we can do projects here. And I have done reciprocity with many of these clubs. You support our global grant project in US, we'll help you with a project in your country. We can do those things. So when we did the global grant project in our country for the COVID, it became so big, $114,000 were contributed by the Rotarians. We usually match dollar for dollar, but we didn't have $114,000 in our DDF. So all we could match was $70,000 from Nancy Russell, who was the last district governor, had a $50,000. And we were not even in this year yet when we started the project. And Steve Puderbaugh, even though he was not the governor yet, he permitted to take some of the money from his into the foundation. And they gave $70,000 from the foundation, DDF. And we did $314,000 worth global grant foundation for 31 clubs. So it's one of the major global grant projects we have done. Because of that, our DDF for this year has become very small.
Okay.
It's only like
I did forget about that. We did participate, so I apologize on that.
yeah.
My other question is on the November 12th is the district foundation Zoom meeting.
Yep.
Can you tell us a little bit about that? And
Yeah, this is we do every year. We used to call it Rotary Foundation dinner. And we used to have a one party in Nashua and another party in Vermont, because we couldn't invite everybody, travel all the way. But this year, since we cannot have a physical, we are doing one Zoom meeting. And since it's not a dinner, we are calling it a district foundation celebration. And it's very important this time because every dollar we collect from here, we have a raffle in every district foundation dinners, and we collect raffle tickets, and we get and we request every club to bring a gift, and then we raffle them off. So this time we are saying all the raffle money you buy will be donated to the polio in your name. So if you buy $50 worth of raffle tickets, you will have a recognition of $50 for donation to the foundation for polio. So it would be recognized as a donation to the foundation, the dollars you spend for the raffle tickets. So it'll be generous, buy as many tickets as you can. And there are a lot of good prizes also this time because it's online. So that money will go to the, and we have the main speaker this year is our international director, Brenda Casey. She used to be on the West Coast, but she moved to Maine. So she's in the Maine district now. So she will be our chief guest, keynote speaker. And there will be topics about the Rotary Foundation. And some of what you heard today, I'll be talking about there in that. And then at the end of 1 hour, we're going to have 4 breakout sessions. One for the Rotary Foundation basics, one for how to go apply for global grants, and one is, hey, where do I go look for these global grant projects? I'm interested in doing one, but where do I find one? And if I want to do one, do I have help in the district? Where can I get help? All these things, we have a 4 breakout sessions, like a 30-minute breakout sessions. And you can join one of those. And you go to our district website and register. Registration is free, but you buy as many raffle tickets as you can, so that becomes a donation to our polio.
thank you.
Any other questions?
Either everybody understood what I said or everybody went over your heads.
Sharon has a question.
Yes, sorry, thank you. No, I just wanted to remind our members, most of them have been here a while, but Paul is new to us, that over the years, we've done a lot of global grants.
Yes, I know.
We've done a couple with our sister club in Ludlow, England.
Yeah.
We've helped the Malika House with some solar, right? That was all a global grant. We've done lots of things.
Yep.
Thank you.
I think you guys have done, it was not a global grant, but a major district grant with Uganda. I think Kim was involved in
Yeah,
that.
it started out as a global grant and we didn't quite meet the criteria. So Rick helped us. It was a district grant. It turned into.
Yeah, it was a sizable grant. Yeah.
It was quite substantial. And Sharon, we also did the ambulance, I believe, in Indonesia.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Okay.
And we did something in Egypt, right?
We did a literacy project in Egypt.
Yeah, I read all those reports, Kim. Great. Your club has done a great job.
Well, Venu, thank you very, very much. Let's all keep in mind ways we can engage with the foundation with time with talent, or as Venu said, with treasury. So, Venu, thank you very, very much. Much appreciate the talk today. Thank you.
for this offer and thank you for this opportunity. And
Thank
it's
you.
nice to see so many of you again. Hopefully
We'll
we'll
see you soon.
personally pretty soon.
Absolutely.